once again, Nez is in the basket and she looks so cute. I actually can't believe it. Another episode, Nez is in the basket. She's ready for the episode. We do have a lot to read in today's episode, and it's definitely going to be a fun episode. So with that being said, story number 1. Am I the a-hole for not wanting to share my food, even though my boyfriend paid for it? Okay, so my boyfriend and I ordered takeout. He said that he'd cover it this time, which was sweet. I got my usual pasta and he got a burger. When it arrives, he immediately starts eating my pasta. Like full bites, not just can I try a little type stuff. I told him to stop and he goes, relax, I paid for it. I said that doesn't mean that it's automatically his. It's still my meal. He said that I was being ungrateful because he spent the money and it's ours now. We ended up eating in silence and now he's acting like I made a big deal over food. But like, I don't care who paid, that was my dinner. Am I the a-hole for snapping at him? Oh my god. What a way to get into the episode. Okay, so first of all, no, you're not the a-hole OP. And second of all, that's the most a-holey thing ever that your boyfriend did. Like the top comment says, yeah, that's when I leave my food there and I walk away. He said that he'd cover it this time, which was sweet, but it wasn't sweet. The second top comment says, no, he's eating some of your meal and his own. Yeah. It's so disrespectful. I'm guessing when it's your turn to pick up the tab, he doesn't feel that you're entitled to some of his meal, in addition to all of your own. Yeah, this I paid for it thing is a childish power game. Yeah, 100%. So he bought his own food, he has his own dinner, but also he's entitled to OP's dinner as well because he paid for it? Oh, how considerate of you, dude. How ridiculous. Yeah, like this comment under that says, you paid for it for me. Like, what's wrong with people? Not the a-hole OP, but your boyfriend sure is. This comment says he didn't buy you dinner then. He bought himself dinner and is letting you eat a little bit of it, but he wants full credit for treating you. And the response, exactly, that's so rude of him. And it says at the end there, and now he's acting like I made a big deal over food. That is so frustrating. Yeah, very unsurprisingly, not the a-hole consensus. Okay, moving on to post number 2. Am I the a-hole for embarrassing my boyfriend at a game release? My boyfriend, male 23, and I, female 21, went to the midnight drop of a video game at our local game store. I had already pre-ordered and paid for 2 copies of the game, one for me and one for him. We specifically went to a midnight release because there was a free tote bag with each purchase. When we got to the front of the line, we got our 2 copies of the game and our tote bag. As I'm about to leave, my boyfriend kindly asked the guy, could we get a second tote bag since we got 2 copies of the game? Which is not an unreasonable question, but I knew that it was 1 bag per purchase. And I'd previously told him that if he wanted a bag, he should pre-order on his own. Well, after the guy said no, he snapped and started getting rude with the guy, saying that it was ridiculous, that we were cheated, and other, in my opinion, stupid things in a very rude and aggressive tone of voice. I told him, it's not the time for this, and I pulled him out of the store. Once we got to the car, he got mad at me and told me how embarrassing it was to get pulled out of the store, and how I should have let him handle it man to man. Oh my. Now he won't talk to me, and every time I try to talk to him, he puts on this high-pitched voice and imitates me, saying, it's not the time for this. Oh my god. I didn't mean to embarrass him, but he was being rude and embarrassing me. Am I the a-hole? No, of course not. He not only embarrassed himself, but he embarrassed you, not the other way around. Update, I woke up the next morning with flowers on my nightstand and a note saying when I was awake to come out to the living room. When I went out, I was greeted by breakfast and a super apologetic boyfriend. He said that he was being immature and he was incredibly tired and shouldn't have acted how he did. He apologized not only for acting that way, but for how he reacted after the fact as well. We talked through why it hurt me and how we both could have handled the situation better. We spent the whole day playing the game and then went and used our 1 bag to get groceries, and all is well. Thank you for everybody's advice and perspective. This whole situation opened a new level of communication for our relationship. Update, my boyfriend has never been like this before. This is not a repeated behavior. He's a very gentle and kind human, and that's why I was so taken aback by it. He was extremely tired since he'd been up since 5 a.m. for work, and I've been with him for a long time, and this is the first time that this had ever happened. Yeah, well, at least he realized that he was being immature, because he definitely was. Like this comment says, not the a-hole dude was acting like a child, so you had to treat him like a child. That's on him. Yeah, 100%. And at least he realizes it. But yeah, not the a-hole to you, OP. I know that we just started the episode, but it's already been such a fun episode. I need to make more videos. I'm just super busy at the moment, but hopefully in the future I can do more videos. They're so fun. Okay, post number 3. Am I the a-hole for staying in a disabled spot, or was grandma overreacting? I'm 25 male, disabled, and I have a valid disabled parking permit. I drive an older BMW, a nice one in my opinion. After my physiotherapy, I walked back to my car parked in a disabled parking spot. I got in and I spent a few minutes on my phone before heading home. Just taking a short breath, I always do that after physio. The parking lot was nearly empty. Next to me there were 3 regular open spots, and across from me there was another empty disabled spot with 2 free spaces beside it. And it's a free parking area, by the way. Then a woman somewhere mid-60s drives up. She stares at me for a few seconds. Nez is snoring so loud, it's so distracting. So unbelievably cute. Okay, back to the post. Then a woman somewhere mid-60s drives up. She stares at me for a few seconds, then she parks her car half almost crisscross across the disabled spot opposite me. She gets out, she walks straight up to my window and she says, "Why are you taking up a disabled spot? You've been sitting here playing games for 15 minutes and I want to park here." Honestly, I was a bit surprised. So I said, "I'm allowed to park here. I was just doing something on my phone and I was about to leave." Before I could even finish my sentence, she cuts me off. "You don't need to justify yourself." Yet she keeps on going, telling me that it's rude of me to sit there and that I should move over because she can't park her car anywhere else because it's too long. She came over a bit rude. I tried to stay polite, but I could feel the frustration creeping in. This kind of thing happens sometimes though. Someone sees a young guy in a car and immediately assumes that he's abusing a disabled spot. No one sees why that blue card is there in the first place. Eventually she walked away mid-sentence, and I was a bit confused. I wasn't blocking anybody, I had a valid permit, and I was planning to leave. So was I really being rude, or was she just frustrated? Edit, I think I stood there for 5, maybe 6 minutes. No longer. As for my disability, I have Friedreich's ataxia. I currently walk with a walking stick, I'm a bit wobbly when standing, everything costs energy, and my voice is a little bit distorted. It doesn't get any better. When I sit, I look completely normal. Not for pity, just understanding. Yeah, no, not the a-hole OP. Very much not the a-hole in the comments too. But yeah, you didn't do anything wrong. Obviously, you were in the spot that she always prefers, and she was annoyed because she couldn't park in her usual spot. But you didn't do anything wrong, and you were also about to leave. This comment says, "Not the a-hole, you're parked." What would she have done had you not been in your car at all? Oh my god, I know. She would have also had to wait, or park in a different spot for disabled people. There's no rule that states that you can't sit in your car for 10 or 15 minutes catching your breath or decompressing. If anything, it's safer if you do so you don't get overwhelmed right away in traffic. And if other spots are too long for her, she needs to take that up with the city or whoever else is the proprietor of the parking lot and ask about extra spots or differently located spots. Regardless, it's not your concern. Her needs or disability don't rank higher than yours. Yeah, and obviously she was like, "Oh, okay. Some young guy has taken my spot and they probably don't even need that spot." And she was angry that you were in her spot. Yeah, not the a-hole OP. And moving on to post number 4. Am I the a-hole for not answering my mum's 15 missed calls during my honeymoon? Oh my, somebody wants attention. That is so bad. We were in Santorini, second day of our honeymoon. Just finished dinner, grilled octopus, cold white wine, the sea almost black under the moon. I left my phone in the room. When we got back, 15 missed calls from my mum. 6 texts saying urgent. My heart dropped. I called right away. She wanted to know if I could check if the plumber had come to her house because the sink still smells weird. Oh my god. I told her, "Mum, I'm in Greece." She said, "You could still text the guy. It takes 2 minutes." My wife laughed softly behind me, trying not to make a scene. I hung up and then I turned my phone off again. The next morning, my brother texted, "She's telling everybody that you ignored her in an emergency." I looked at the calm blue water and I wondered if maybe I really had. Okay, so first of all, OP, you need to put a stop to this immediately. You need to put boundaries in with your mum the second that you see your mum. And also, I'm happy that OP hung up and then turned off their phone. Like, I feel like that's a good sign because OP wasn't giving into this sort of crap. OP was like, no, this is stupid, and turned off their phone. I feel like that's a good sign. But yeah, 100% this comment. I feel so sorry for your wife. OP's mum is clearly jealous and trying to steal the focus during the honeymoon. She's gonna be a nightmare mother-in-law, not the a-hole. 100%. And the comment below that too. It's time to start retraining your annoying mother right now. Have a heart-to-heart talk with your mum as soon as you get back regarding this kind of nonsense. Tell her if she pulls this kind of nonsense again, you'll block her number and all calls can go directly to your brother. And the response says she knows that she's losing her grip on her baby boy and is trying to hang on. Put her in her place before she becomes a bigger issue than she already is. Yeah, for sure. It's not about the bloody plumber or whatever they said. There's a comment that says, so why didn't she call your brother? And yeah, like this response says, because her goal was to show OP's new wife that mummy comes first. Her goal had nothing to do with the plumbing and everything to do with interrupting OP's honeymoon. Yeah, of course. Oh, it's an emergency. You need to text a plumber for me. This comment says controlling or narcissistic parents, or parents with narcissistic tendencies, have a driving need to be in control. And this is just one method. But yeah, not the a-hole to you, OP. You haven't done anything wrong. But you also definitely need to get some boundaries in place, like immediately. Yeah, like it wasn't about the plumber or whatever the issue was. She just wanted to interfere with the honeymoon. Who knows for what reason? But yeah, definitely wasn't an actual emergency. She just wanted to hijack OP's attention. Okay, moving on to post number 5. Am I the a-hole for not giving up the bathroom to a crone's emergency, resulting in their accident? This happened 30 minutes ago. I'm on a job with a porta potty. My stomach has been a mess the last few days. Not sure if I'm getting sick or what, and I'll leave it at that. I feel a bowel movement is coming on quick, and I hustle into the single-use portable bathroom. Before sitting down, I grab a bowl of toilet paper, a couple of pumps of Purell, and wipe off the seat. As I'm doing this, I heard a guy hollering for me to wipe fast and exit, him hearing the sound of the toilet paper roll being pulled. I responded, I just walked in and I would be a few minutes. He says, nope, I have to get out right now. He's having an emergency, and I kid you not, he slides a business card through the crack of the closed door that said something like, this person has Crohn's disease and is prone to sudden bathroom emergencies. Please allow them the courtesy of cutting any bathroom lines. Well, they're not cutting a bathroom line. You're already using the toilet. I've never seen anything like that before, but no problem. Through the door, I said I'm having stomach issues, but I'll finish as quick as I can to help you out. He yells back, no, I'm gonna my pants. Open the damn door. There was definitely a less rude way to ask, but it didn't matter as I was also having a last-minute need of a bathroom. So I finished up and I exited within 3 or 4 minutes. When I got out, I saw him at his van getting inside. I said, hey man, it's all yours. And he tells me, F off. Your selfishness caused me to my pants, and now I'm going home. Speechless, I just said. I'm sorry, I honestly just had to go bad. His last reply was that it does not matter. His doctor gave him this card because he has an actual disease that gives him less than 30 seconds, and people with IBS or Crohn's always must be given priority. Was I the a-hole here? No. I always thought whoever got in first used the bathroom. I moved it along once I knew that he needed it, but I too had to use the bathroom quick, or I would have exited for him, despite him demanding orders versus asking politely. No, not the a-hole OP. The top comment says, I feel a bowel movement is coming on quick. Were you supposed to your pants? Please allow them the courtesy of cutting any bathroom lines. Yeah, you weren't in line. You were in the toilet, not the a-hole. The second top comment says, wipe fast and exit. That sounds like a lawful order. Lol. The response says, you have 10 seconds to comply. This comment says, not the a-hole, somebody was going to themselves. Somebody having priority in a line is different to them trying to boot you off the toilet when you've just sat down. Yeah, of course. When I got out, I saw him at his van getting inside. I said, hey man, it's all yours. And he tells me, off. Your selfishness caused me to my pants. So what, OP was meant to their own pants? You were being as considerate as you could be, OP, but you were already using the toilet.
A few moments later.
Is she staying or leaving? She's staying. No, she's leaving. Thank you for your time, Nez. Post number 6. Am I the a-hole for refusing to let my mum move into my guest room after she sold her house? My mum, 58 female, recently sold her house and made a good chunk of money. Instead of downsizing or renting a small place, she blew a lot of it on vacations and treating herself. Now she's saying that she needs a place to stay temporarily while she figures things out. I, 30 female, live with my husband, 31 male, in a 2-bedroom house. The second bedroom is my husband's office. He works from home full time, and moving him to the dining room would be disruptive. My mum insists that she'll barely be around and that we're selfish for refusing when family is supposed to help family. I told her point blank, she had the means to set herself up, but chose not to. I'm not rearranging my entire life and marriage because she spent recklessly. Now she's crying to relatives that I'm abandoning her. Am I the a-hole for not letting my mum move in? No, you don't have room. It's not fair that your husband has to move his office into the dining room. You don't have enough space. And like this comment says, not the a-hole. You don't have space for her, and why should your husband have to move his office to the dining room? She decided that blowing her money like a teenager was what she wanted to do. Let somebody else in the family take her in. And the comment below that says not the a-hole. There'll be nothing temporary about it if she moves in. She'll expect you and your husband to support her for the rest of her life. Yeah, definitely a not the a-hole consensus. Story number 7. Am I the a-hole for not adding my mum back to a holiday that she dropped out of? I had booked a short holiday package followed by a cruise over a year in advance. Because I'd be paying the same price for the cruise for 1 or 2 people, I asked my mum if she wanted to come for free, so she would fly out a few days after me to stay with me for a night or 2 and then join for the cruise. She wasn't 100% certain because she was anxious about flying transatlantic on her own. I talked her through the transfers and I made it as simple for her as possible. I said that I'd need a final answer about 4 months before the cruise, as that was the final payment date, and any further changes, i.e. taking her off the booking, would charge a fee after that point. But obviously I had to provide accurate information about who was coming on board. The final payment date came and went. She still wasn't certain because we hadn't yet booked flights due to prices being high. We were waiting for a sale. I booked my flights about 2 months before the trip, and she seemed hesitant, but she booked hers. The next day, I called the hotel to ask if they could add her name on the booking. It's a very well-known resort, and this should have been fine, but the call handler said no. She would have to buy the package. I rang my mum, and I said that was incorrect advice, so I'm going to ask the Facebook community for some advice. But worst case scenario, she'd have to get a hotel elsewhere for 1 to 2 nights. She panicked and cancelled her flights as it was within 24 hours. She said that she wouldn't risk going and wasn't prepared to look at other hotels. I said that if she cancels her flights, I'll take that she's not coming, because I need to update the booking ASAP as the fee could go up the closer to the trip. She accepted that and cancelled anyway. So I removed her from the booking and I had to pay a small fine. She didn't offer to help or pay the fine. I really struggle with plans changing. I also live for my holidays, so this was stressful for me. It took a lot to get my head around going on my own, but I finally got excited to go solo. My mum never takes accountability, never apologizes, never gives emotional support, and always plays the victim. A month before the trip, she says that she actually wants to go and is going to ring the resort and cruise to try to sort it out. She told me this, not asked. I said I'm not doing anything to help with it. Of course, then she rings me saying that they can't do anything, as she's not the booking owner, and can I ring them? I said no. She didn't give me an answer when I asked. She hasn't apologized for messing me around, and she didn't help when I had to remove her from the booking. So she just has to accept that she missed the deadline. She's upset with me, and I'm mad that I now feel like my holiday is ruined because either I add her back to the booking when I now don't really want her to go because of how she acted, or I don't, and I have to deal with the emotional guilt tripping. My stance is to not add her. But does that make me the a-hole? No. The top comment says, not the a-hole, your mother's too indecisive to take this trip. And the response says, also, no offense, but it sounds like she would be a really tough companion to travel with, who's gonna stress you and herself out the entire time. We all need compatibility when traveling with people, and I honestly believe that she would ruin the trip for you, not the a-hole. The second top comment says, sorry mum, too late. I told you it had to be booked by so-and-so date, and you cancelled. Not the a-hole, and she can spend the holiday with her regret. Don't let her guilt trip you. Just keep on repeating the quote that I've given you. Okay, before we read post number 8, the basket's looking a little bit empty. I think I have the perfect thing. A little Gandalf duck. Incredible, that's perfect. Am I the a-hole for not allowing my sister's dogs loose in my new car? I, 21 female, and my sister, 19 female, are going to Thanksgiving at our nana's next month. She lives in a small town in Missouri, about 3 hours away. My sister doesn't have a driver's license or car or a job, so it was implied that I'd be taking her with me. I was fine with that. My sister brought it up to me that she would be bringing her 2 dogs with her. She immediately added that they would be free roaming in the car before I could even say anything to the first statement. I told her I would not be okay with that because it's a brand new car, and one of her 2 dogs is very misbehaved. They're both smallish dogs that are about 20 pounds each. I told her I'm fine with having them in crates secured in the trunk. I drive a new Toyota RAV4, so there's plenty of space for some roomy crates, and there's plenty of airflow. She told me that I can't expect her to make her do that to her dogs. I told her that yes, in fact I can. It's my car and your free ride to grandma's. She told me I will let them free roam. I told her she doesn't get to decide that. She then says, I'm not telling you, I'm demanding you. Her dogs literally started fighting while we were talking. I tell her, you can find a ride then. She then tells me to leave and go back to my apartment. Am I the yay-hole? Edit, to be more clear, yes, my nana is aware the dogs will be coming. The car is an SUV, so the trunk is not closed off from the cabin at all. The dogs would be visible from the back seat. I have cloth seats, so that would be a magnet for dog hair and dog stink. She doesn't keep her dogs groomed very well at all, and simply petting one for a few seconds will stink up your hand. There are not any clear laws for the state of Oklahoma or Missouri that have requirements for dog restraints. Thank you all for confirming my doubts. She was being manipulative AF, and I started to doubt myself over the situation. I was thinking that I was being irrational over this. Yeah, the top comment, not the a-hole. Having them crated to drive safely isn't negotiable. Your car, your rules. Your sister sounds entitled. Yeah, definitely. This comment says not the a-hole. At this point, even if she agreed to crate her dogs, I still wouldn't take her. Yeah, the level of disrespect and lack of maturity is too much. Yeah, you will let me. I'm not asking, I'm demanding. Like the audacity. The second top comment says not the a-hole. Regardless of whether it's your car or not, dogs should be in crates when traveling for the safety of the driver, passengers, and the dogs. Very much a not the a-hole consensus. And yeah, the audacity is wild. I like having Gandalf in the basket. Never thought I'd say that sentence. Okay, story number 9. My boyfriend called me stupid after I brought him exactly what he asked me for. Am I the a-hole? Yesterday I went alone to a salad bar while my boyfriend was at home. I asked him what he wanted me to bring back. He said, just salad, salmon, and dressing. I even double checked and asked, nothing else? And he said no. So I made exactly that for him. Salad, salmon, and dressing. When I got home and gave it to him, he looked at it and said, this is so dry, and shook his head. Then he asked, didn't they have tomato salad? I reminded him that he said he only wanted salmon and salad. He replied, should I have written down a list of what I want? And I said, I just brought what you asked me for. And then he said, are you actually that stupid? Oh my god, the audacity. How dare you, dude? After that, I didn't talk to him. Later, he said that it was just a question, not an insult, and that he only said it because he felt that I was being indifferent by not putting tomatoes and stuff. Oh, get out of here. Eventually, he apologized, not only for that comment, but also for his overall bad behavior. Later that night, he asked me how he could make me feel better. I told him to go get some candy from the store, half jokingly. It was around 11 p.m. and freezing outside, but he actually went and got it for me. Even though he apologized and did that, I still feel like he crossed a line into name calling. He's usually kind and respectful, but that comment really stuck with me. It made me feel like he doesn't value or respect me as much as I thought. He says it wasn't meant as an insult, but in my opinion, it clearly was. Am I overreacting for still feeling disrespected, even after his apology and his attempt to make things right? No, you're not overreacting. The top comment says you're not overreacting. He clearly insulted you, even if he later tried to downplay it. Saying, are you stupid? Isn't a question, it's a put down. especially after you did exactly what he asked you. His apology and candy run show effort, but that doesn't erase the disrespect. You can forgive him if you choose, but it's fair to still feel hurt and want reassurance that he won't speak to you like that again. Respect shouldn't slip just because somebody's frustrated. Yeah, and the lack of gratitude too. Like OP goes out and does this for him, and that's how he responds? Like this comment says, I hope when he got home from getting the candy, you told him that he got the wrong kind, and asked if he was stupid or something. Yeah, that was definitely an insult. This comment says, seriously, I'd flip it onto him. Are you stupid? I asked you specifically what else you wanted, and you said nothing. Learn how to use your words next time. Okay, story number 10. Am I the a-hole for replacing pictures of my cousins with pictures of my dog? My grandpa's birthday was a couple of weeks ago. 6 weeks before his birthday, I texted all of my siblings and cousins, there's 9 of us, and told them to send me a picture of themselves within the next 4 weeks so I could put it on a phone case for our grandpa's birthday. 2 weeks later, I sent the text again, saying that I needed a picture of them, and anybody that chooses not to send a picture will be replaced by a picture of my dog. I had 3 cousins to tell me to screenshot something from their Instagrams. I didn't respond. I sent a text out the day before I put in the order saying anybody that did not send a picture of themselves in the next 24 hours would be replaced by pictures of my dog. The same 3 cousins never sent pictures. Their spots have my dog in a sombrero, my dog at the pumpkin patch, and my dog in a chicken costume. They came over for my grandpa's birthday and they saw him open his new phone case. They saw that their pictures weren't on the case, and they got mad at me for not picking something off their Instagrams like they told me to. I said that I sent 3 reminders to send me a picture with a clear warning that anybody that did not send a picture would be replaced with a picture of the dog. They knew exactly what was going to happen. My grandpa finds it hilarious, but their parents are telling my parents that I kept them off the phone case on purpose, and they want me to apologize. Am I the a-hole for replacing them with pictures of my dog because they never sent me a picture? The top comment says, Grandpa liked it. That's all that matters, not the a-hole. The second top comment says, not the a-hole, and Grandpa finding it hilarious is a win. Also, who paid for it? Did you pay for it yourself, or did others chip in? And OP said, I paid. Yeah, definitely not the a-hole, and Jin is right next to me. Do you want to be in the video, Jin? He is so beautiful. He's like, oh my god, who's Gandalf? Do you want to stay in the basket? No, that's okay, we have Gandalf. But yeah, definitely a not the a-hole consensus, and I now want a phone case with pictures of the cats on it. That's so cute. Am I the a-hole for finding it distasteful that the dinner host asked to split the cost of groceries and ingredients? My friend recently moved into a new apartment and invited me to dinner this weekend because she's craving dry pot. For those of you who don't know, dry pot is a stir-fried medley of veggies, meat, all mixed up with a bunch of fancy spices like star anise and cardamom. It was a cute idea and my first time visiting hers for dinner, so I accepted, and I asked if it'd make sense for me to cook something too. It's a small kitchen. Here's where I personally thought that it got weird. She suggested that I bring a bottle of wine and then casually mentioned that she would like me to pitch in for the cost of ingredients and spices. Now, neither of us are strapped for cash. We do live in a high cost of living city, but we have very good jobs and financial stability. I've also hosted this friend before plenty of times at my own apartment, not for dinner, but for cocktails. I worked as a bartender a few years ago, and since then I've accumulated my own bar setup at home, 20 plus bottles of liquors and bitters, homemade syrups and infusions, clear glass molds, cute glassware, the works. That was maybe 7 or more years ago, and since then my place has become a go-to place among my circle of friends for an occasional pre-dinner drink, and it's really fun creating special cocktails that people will enjoy. I've never asked anybody for a single cent, nor did I feel like that would be the right thing to do given that I was the one hosting. And I felt like, given this context, that it was kind of odd for her to ask me to pitch in for money, given that it's never come up before and I know her financial situation, but she got upset at my pushback, and her rationale is that dry pot is expensive to make and that she'd be the one doing the cooking and the cleanup. As of the time of this post, she spent nearly $80 on specialty spices, and she's still got to get another $100 plus worth of imported and specialty groceries from H-Mart LMAO. Apparently this dry pot is also going to make 5 to 6 servings, which I feel like is even more odd because number one, I was just planning to be there for dinner, and I wasn't counting on leftovers, and number two, you can control how much you cook at one time, so you don't have to make that much food in one go if you don't want to. My take is that if you're offering to host and cook dinner, Buying the food and putting in the time to cook is part of being a good host. Her point of view is that my making drinks for her over the years isn't equivalent to cooking a full dinner, and that it's very normal to ask somebody to pitch in for the cost of food, and that if I'd asked her to pitch in for liquor at any time, she would have happily done so. At that point though, I don't know why we wouldn't just go to a restaurant and split the bill, because that'd be basically the same. So Reddit, am I the a-hole for being disgruntled at being asked to split the cost of the groceries and some of the spices? Edit, for accuracy's sake, I checked our message history, and it was actually closer to $40 of spices, so less expensive than I initially thought. No, not the a-hole. This comment says, not the a-hole, this is such a bizarre setup and is so inconsiderate to you. If the plan was to split the cost of ingredients evenly between you two, that should have been the first thing that she brought up. And if that's the case, you need to have equal say in how much gets spent and on what. Especially if it's just you two. There's no reason that dinner should cost $200 in ingredients. My personal policy is that if I'm inviting friends to dinner, I'm willingly taking on that cost as a host. Sometimes I'll ask, or friends will offer to bring something, like a side or an appetizer or dessert, but charging your guests is abrasive, especially if they get little to no say in what's being bought and cooked. So bizarre. This comment says, not the a-hole. She's filling up her spice rack and pantry and wants you to foot the bill. I'd bow out gracefully and I'd say, let's just get a drink out instead. Let someone else be the sucker. Yeah, definitely a not the a-hole consensus. Okay, time to read something wholesome. Oh, would you look at the time? You're a beautiful human being who deserves all the love and appreciation in the world. That's so cute. Oh my, is it that time again? That's so funny. Funny and also beautiful. Thank you for watching today's episode, everybody. I hope you had a great time today. I had a great time. That was such a fun episode. I think Nez also had a great time. I think Gandalf had a great time. And we're excited for the next episode. The comment of the day today goes to Caleb Brown. That's a high quality loaf in the basket there. Oh yeah, Nez's loaves are out of control. She does some unbelievably high quality loaves. She does ones where you can't even see her feet at all. She's so adorable. Okay, I'm out of here. Thank you for the support, everybody. I really appreciate it. Make sure you look after yourself and make sure you have a beautiful, amazing rest of your day. And I'll see you in the next episode. Bye!